All right, everyone, welcome. Next edition of our Zoomcast. We're here with, and when I tell you this is not a lie or an exaggeration, the best backstroker in Chapman swimming history. Will Crewe, we're a pleasure to have Will with us. Will, first male SCIAC champion in Chapman swimming history. Last year won the 100 back, and when in doing so, became the first swimmer to break 50 seconds in the 100 back. Also was the first male swimmer before that to make it to the podium. Get all SCIAC, and that was in 2018 as a freshman. He placed third, and even then in 2019 when he didn't miss the podium, or he did miss the podium, missed it by just about that much. And it was a great swim last year. It was exciting to watch. It was I'm sure all your teammates, you could hear them, I'm sure, when they erupted when you won. But oh man, it was great. So we'll get into it. How's it going with you? Tell us where you're waiting this one out at, and how you're dealing kind of with this whole year and everything that's been happening.
I'm hanging in there. I'm just the same as most people are, I'm assuming. Currently, I'm up near Seattle, Washington, where my family lives. Just trying my best to get out, exercise every day. Keep the mental going. Pushing through classes, coming up on finals week. So, just trying to do well with that. And yeah, that's basically how I'm doing right now.
And I'd imagine swimming being kind of a tough sport, the aquatics, it's probably hard especially during a time of a lockdown earlier in the spring, and maybe as we're getting kind of there now, or at least here in California. I don't know what it's like up there in Seattle, but it's hard to find a pool to get in and actually train. Is that difficult for you?
It was for the first however many months of quarantine or lockdown, whatever you want to call it. I think I had my longest stint out of the pool in my whole life, before I started swimming at the age of 3. So having that 6 or 7 months off, now I'm able to full time at the pool once a week. So it's not the best, better than nothing. Doing my best to get out and exercise. So yeah.
Nice. Well, good. How about school for you? School in the fall's gone well. I know we've got about a week until finals. So how you looking for I know your senior year. How are you looking for that going into finals week?
Just best to keep academics up, just studying and getting all my work done. Definitely a change waking up and hopping on Zoom for class instead of taking a shower and going to class and having to look presentable. So there's silver linings and everything. I somewhat like class from my bed, complain. But yeah.
Well, good. Glad to hear you're doing well. Seems like you're in a pretty bright spirit so far. So as we kind of head this final part of the fall semester and get ready to turn the page. Now, I do have some receipts for you. So we did pull up the recording of the swim. So I'm going to bring that up real quick. Here we go. There it is. Do you remember the pool? How's it look?
I love that pool. My favorite pools that I've ever raced at. The atmosphere is just incredible. Just left of the middle, see my whole team standing behind on the opposite end of the pool, ready to cheer me on. Incredible.
And Will is in lane 6 in this race, which is the 4th lane from the left, if you're looking at the screen. Yeah, you'll see it here in a sec. But so first lap, how are you feeling as you backstroke? You start in the pool. So how do you feel when you jump in the pool? Obviously, you've got kind of a shot at this, but you had, I think, the 3rd best time coming into finals from the prelims in the morning. So how are you feeling when you jump in the pool?
I'm gonna be completely honest. There's a thing that when I was a lot younger is best races you ever swim, you won't remember racing. You're just not the best swims you'll ever have is when you're out of it. You're not selling yourself out. You're not trying to overthink your swim. Just letting your muscle memory and your strength take over. I really remember from the swim, hopping in the pool, and just feeling energized, feeling ready to go. I felt fast. I felt like the water was something that I could just power through, and then I was just going to do well in the race.
All right, well, let's take a look at that first lap here and see how you're feeling as we get introduced. Like you said, great atmosphere in this gym or in this pool. You can hear the crowds, the teams kind of amping up as we get underway. There you go, making your first turn, and you're still feeling good at that point.
Yeah, my game plan 100 back, just strong efficient stroke for the first 50. Just try to hold out in 50. Stroke is one of the most taxing strokes of all because your legs just they die out so quick. So I try to hold back on the legs in the first 50, and I stuck to my game plan. So right here I was a little bit behind because I was holding back, but you'll see that it pays off in the second 50. So.
Yeah, looking back to your freshman year now, though your freshman year, I think you were at this pool, right?
Yep, same pool.
Yeah, and you ended up third in that race. Was that on your radar going into the year? Like, hey, I can make the podium and something right away, and I can just get better and better as my career goes on.
End of the year hopeful. I definitely thought that I had a chance. The fanatic that my scouted around the whole knew roughly what everybody was going to do. And yeah, getting on the podium was one of my goals. I was hoping to break 51 seconds that year for the 100 back, which it was definitely a goal, and I was super excited to make it. During my freshman and sophomore year, my older brother also swam for Claremont. So it's always such an amazing feeling. He always, like, after the race, I always give him a big hug. So after this and this race here, probably one of the most special with my brother too. So just an awesome time. Yeah, I was definitely hoping to get up there and I was super happy to do so.
That's awesome. That's a great experience to be able to kind of share that with your brother too, especially when you probably get to gloat a little bit that you made it up there and maybe beat some of his teammates.
I'm racing his teammate. He's the one that got second place.
Okay, there you go. So when you reached that podium, I mean, how did you feel climbing up on that step your freshman year? You got one step up, so you got there and you kind of made an impact right away. So how did you feel doing that?
It was awesome. Yeah, it was going into college, compared to previous years where it was more club scene. I feel like I was trying to race and perform more for my team as an individual. So able to go up on the podium and look my teammates taking pictures of me and Sean, stuff like that. It was such an awesome experience because I was hoping that race, like, amp up, jazz them, get excited to go swim faster. I would motivate them as well. So a lot of my swims, a lot of my motivation comes behind my team because I love my team. They're all amazing.
That's the different thing I think about college swimming when you talk about the club scene and even maybe high school a little bit is just the team factor to it where you've kind of, you cheer on your friends and your teammates in your club, but you're racing for something just a little bit more when you're here on the college scene. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, for sure. And definitely shows. You can see probably almost every single person behind my lane in that race right there, with the exception of somebody who's like Swift or something. It's just an awesome experience, and like I'm doing right. Like I pick my and that just want to swim even. So
that's awesome. Was that so? Are you motivated after that freshman year to kind of come out and maybe get higher on that podium? Does that motivate you more?
I my sophomore year, but I still my best. The vengeance, my try to get up there.
All right. Sorry, you cut out a little bit there, I think. I don't know if it's my internet or yours. Wonders of Zoom, man. The wonders of Zoom.
My internet's been so terrible here. I'm sorry.
No worries. No worries. So, well, we'll move on a little bit. So your second lap here, you're trailing a bit, like you kind of pointed out. You're saving your legs. Are you taking a peek on the turn to see where you are, or how's the swim? And are you taking a peek?
I told myself I wouldn't, but I definitely did. You gotta know where you are in the and I know how much to push it back maybe. So I knew my number one opponent was a stroker. So I was just trying to play my race, but yeah, I definitely peaked a little.
So here you go, coming back towards your teammates now, and obviously you got some there on the other side too, I'm sure, waving at you, but trailing a little bit, and you get the halfway point right there, and you're definitely still in it, even though you're trailing by maybe a quarter of a second, half a second. I'm not sure what it is. Can't see the board, but what's left in the tank as you hit the halfway point? Is there, you saved your legs, so you feeling strong and ready to kind of burst out that second 50?
So the 100 of any race, the third lap that breaks it. It's when you really put the burners, when you throw your into it, just try to hold on, like push into 25. So the third lap of mine, I put all my energy into it. I definitely felt very strong. I knew holding back on that first 2 laps definitely paid off. So I was definitely 25 or third lap. I 25s. That's cool. So.
So when you hit the halfway point of your career here, your sophomore year, you were having a great year again, kind of same thing as your freshman year, and and I'm sure your teammates, and we're all looking for you to kind of do the same thing that you did, but you missed it. And I kind of asked this question before, but maybe we kind of dropped the internet or something there. So how motivating was it for you to miss the podium? I think you missed it by a quarter second, if I remember right, which if you think about a quarter of a second in the pool, that's like maybe this right here, right? So how motivating of a factor is that for you?
It was, after freshman year, I'm making the podium. Definitely, I should do again, and missing it by a little bit was definitely a little. I don't know, I'm trying to look like a catchphrase here or something, but it definitely motivated me a lot to just get back on that podium. And to be honest, my junior year, I was making on the podium. I wasn't fully expecting to even place first or second. My goal was just a third.
And you're in a tight one there when you hit the second part. So maybe third was kind of what you were looking at as you reached. Actually, no. Well, looks like you're about in second place there, right?
So the second lane from the left, that's my buddy. I never even came close to his. So he was at 50, but he's a year older than me, so I graduated after this year. So I started racing him in college too. So he's in this 50. So I believe I'm third at this point.
And so you go. Are you still are you aware in the water of where you are, that you have to maybe kick it up a notch, or you're just sticking with your game plan of I'm going to kick in now and the third lap is where I got to go?
Even with my game plan, just pushing it into the lap, ready to go.
You're just pushing it into high gear now, and you make it all the way down. And you said the third lap is the most important. So did you feel good at that point? Like, hey, I feel like I picked it up. I'm in a good spot right now.
I definitely felt great going the turn of the last lap, and pushing it on that third lap definitely makes it hard to bring it home super strong. So I definitely felt my legs giving out a little bit right on this turn here. So going into that last lap, it was just basically it's kind of a race of who wants it more, who's able to just push their body a little bit harder through the pain, through the exhaustion, to just try to finish that lap as fast as possible. So definitely getting a little tired right here, but my motivation and seeing my teammates right there just gets me ready to go to try to push through this pain of the last lap.
This is your junior year. I think you're a team captain on this team, correct? If I'm wrong, right? And so obviously you're kind of a leader on the team now. So not only are you asked to lead by example because you're one of the better backstrokers in the whole conference, you're asked to kind of lead with your voice as well, and kind of keep that the culture of Chapman swimming and move it in a positive direction and kind of leave your mark. How did you adjust to that role?
Honestly, it wasn't much of an adjustment. It felt like somebody kind of just slapped a title on what I already tried to do, right? I'm always there cheering on my teammates. Like at this meet, my throat hurt so bad. Like I could barely talk because I was just cheering the whole time. I have always been one to try to motivate other people with my races. It's like a lot of people have high levels of this, so I'm really good at calming people down and trying to be there for my teammates, and I want them all to do the best that they can. So I lead by example. I lead by screaming as loud as I can. I love my teammates to do their best, so it didn't feel like an adjustment. I was the team in high school too, and that didn't seem any different either. It's just kind of a title and I already tried to do.
I think that's a great way to look at it for, for any younger swimmer or any younger athlete really, as you come in and yeah, you want to be a positive influence on the team right away and kind of keep that culture going in the right direction, which is something that, you've obviously done and help with especially the men's team do over the last few years. So we're going to the fourth lap now here, and you're right there, but I think you're still trailing a little bit. Yeah, did you take a peek on that turn?
I You're not supposed to, but I did, yes.
We'll get it out of you.
I definitely knew that I was just like a hair behind. I knew I was catching up. I knew I was in the race, and I just knew that I had to push through. Like, last 25 of this race, so painful. It's your legs are just burning. Your arms are just so dead. You're just trying to push through the water as fast as you possibly can, and seeing how close to first place, because I honestly had no idea I would even be remotely close. It was definitely kind of a very, very underdog in this race, because this swimmer, he's incredible. He's an incredible backstroker, and it was definitely I was definitely the underdog in the race. So I was fully prepared and to just my body wall.
So you go. You're still trailing here, and I think even when we get to the flags, you might even be a hair behind. And somehow, right as you disappear from the camera view, there is when I think you kind of take the lead, and then you look up and you see this, and you can hear the Chapman crowd, you can hear the roaring, and obviously historic moment in the program, in which case they've never had a champion come in a men's race before. We've been in the conference for 7-8 years, I think, at this point, and and that's a big moment for Coach Dennis. I'm sure for Coach Eric, whoever else is working with you, all your teammates, men and women, I'm sure recognize kind of how big that was. So when you hit the wall, did you think that you got him? Did you look over and say, "Oh my God, we just tied"?
I knew it was super close. And the funniest thing is I'm super nearsighted, so I can't read the board. Like, I couldn't see it or not. So I just hear my brother walk over the blocks. "You did it. You won." And I was just so, I honestly, I couldn't believe it. I started punching the water, just super excited. I was just screaming. All my teammates ran around the pool and gave me a bunch of huge hugs. It was an awesome moment. But no, honestly, I didn't think I won, and I couldn't tell. I couldn't know myself. Yeah.
And in case you missed that it doesn't get a slimmer margin than that. You swam a 49.96, and the guy next to you was a 49.97. So that was 1/100th of a second, which, I mean, he cut his fingernails on Wednesday and you cut yours on Thursday, and that's about the difference in what happened in the race there. Not only did you win, so but when you found out your time, I guess you couldn't see your time, but when you found out your time going under 50, was that a goal? Was that something that you just kind of pushed your body through and you never really thought of doing that? Or was that I'm going to do this and win this thing?
It was definitely a goal. It was something that I always wanted to do, at least in my college career. I set that goal my sophomore year after I broke 50. My goal freshman year was to break 51, and then my sophomore year was to break 50. I didn't quite get there, but it was definitely always on my list. It's kind of something, in the swimming community, where if you break 50 in a non-freestyle event, it's pretty, you're up there. That's that's an accomplishment, right? So it was definitely a goal, and it was something that I always wanted to do. And I'm super happy that I was able to do it. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's that's definitely an accomplishment to do something like that, and your name's in the record book. Well, it was before that anyway, but I don't see, you don't get, like I said, you're the best swimmer in Chapman swimming history in the backstroke. So that's something that's probably going to stand for at least a few years before we'll see who Dennis brings in the next few years that maybe can come after it. But
hopefully there's a super fast backstroker to come take my place. I'd love that for the program.
That's something about swimming and track and some of these like kind of speed individual type sports, is it seems that there's always somebody that's going to be faster as the years go on, and times get faster and faster. So you're definitely pushing the program forward in that respect. Well, on the podium, what are you thinking? I mean, I've seen video of that. I don't have it to share here in this one, but I've seen it, and people, I can't even hear the announcer because people are just roaring when they introduce you.
The podium was awesome. So that same guy, Dave, he got third place. So walking up to the podium, I shook hands with the guy who got second place, and then I gave Dave a just like a little brief, like, nice job, dude. Like, he was not fully expecting to make podium at this meet, so I was super happy for him too. So that was just kind of walking up to it, and then standing on the podium, it was surreal. It was just validate the fact that I was able to get up there, go there, be backed by my team and for my team, and able to pull out the victory, and make my team, make all my team, make my, it's all super for me and super proud of me, and it was just an awesome moment. And all my teammates, my family in the crowd, they were, it was awesome to partake. So then I'll remember for a very long time.
That's awesome, man. Do you think about those early morning practices, the rushing from class or rushing to class from practice, sneaking in a bite to eat, whatever comes along with being a college athlete, all those sacrifices that you make, you think, especially a sport like swimming where, maybe you are up at 5 a.m. heading to the pool on, scarfing down a banana or whatever it is just to get some energy before you get in there. But are you thinking about that stuff? Is that something that just, like you said, kind of validates all that work that you guys put in?
It's not, that isn't something that it's not that weighs. It's just, it's a part of the gig, right? It's something that you just get you to, because you love your sport. So it's something that you just, that along with it, you power through all the late to class. You still have chlorine smell all over you after waking up. It's just something that comes along with sport, and might be a little tough if you love it enough and if you want to do it enough. It's a thing. So I genuinely don't really think about that all that often.
Coming into this year, I'm sure you had high hopes to kind of repeat, or at least to get up there again for a third time. And that's not gonna, unfortunately the state of the world is what it is, and we're not gonna have that chance this year. But what were your thoughts, I guess, thinking, especially when we were back in October and your training, how was that going, and your training for what you hope to have is at least a shortened season at that point?
At that point, there was a relation that maybe SCIAC happened. So my number one goal was to just have that same environment. My teammates, they're some of my best friends. During quarantine, they were, or lockdown, when I went back they were some of the only people I hung out with. Like, we're already going to be in a pool together. So, just kind of keep my pod very small. There's some of my friends. So having them come in, meeting some of them, I just wanted that same atmosphere and wanted to be a part of that again. Even though we might not be competing same championships or me, I still want to be there with my team and swimming. It's just what I want to do. So, yeah.
And you're on track to graduate in the spring, correct?
Yep.
Are you planning on kind of taking advantage of the extra eligibility at all? Or are you just I'm gonna put this chapter behind me, and there's no right or wrong answer. You could say I don't know if you want to, but
Um, I would like to say this, but I don't think it's possible. Yeah, I kind of just need to graduate and head off into job. And obviously, I'm still going to be swimming. I'm looking into doing masters after college. Still competing because it's a part of me, and I love the adrenaline rush of it. But not too sure I'm going to be able to take advantage of that extra year. No.
so what's next? What's the I guess what's the hope for the job, or any maybe grad school or anything like that for you?
I've been applying to post grad jobs. I'm a computer science major, so hoping to good position there. And then after, so when I'm like 25, 26, I could come back that year of eligibility. But
Grad school and come back one more year. I like it.
I mean, it's possible, right?
Right.
But the goal is, at least right now, just to get through finals. That's the main.
That's the main and then the spring semester. Now, if there's any chance of coming back in the spring, and even though the SCIAC has canceled the championship for the winter, let's say we get back and we're gonna have swim practice, and maybe there's somebody that wants to swim in a dual meter or something like that somewhere along the lines. Um, if it's possible, and I'm not saying it is or isn't, but if it's possible, are you planning on jumping back in the pool in the spring?
For sure.
Yeah.
I wanted to start at spot. I love it. And I was super happy that we were able to get back in the water in the fall for a bit. It made schoolwork all down so much less painful, I guess, or probably a better term for that. But it just made so much better. So I'm really hoping that we can at least practice, be a part of the environments. I'm for whatever we can possibly. No, I know my being now.
Well, man, yeah, I wish that you had that chance to defend it, and I hope maybe you win another one here in the Masters in a couple of years or next year or whatever it is, and you'll have a chance to kind of wear that medal around your neck again. But like I said, undisputed the best backstroker in Chapman history, and still kind of the only guy that's really made that climb up podium and gotten his way through there, and has definitely pushed the program forward. And I'm sure any swimmer or any coach will tell you that. So, Will, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it. And, we'll hope to get through finals, get those tests done, keep those grades up, and then hope that we're back to something in the spring. And hopefully, the world around us can take a positive turn in the way that, we need and we want at this point.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right, Will Crewe and Stephen Oveda. We'll see you next time.